What is up, everyone? Welcome to Reality Room Podcast with Paul,
And Dave.
bringing you the latest on Celebrity Big Brother episodes 2 and 3, which aired yesterday and today, respectively,
Yep.
Pacific time, anyway. So we just come up. We'll talk briefly about episode 2, and then we'll just jump into the eviction episode, where really the meat of everything happened. So we just jump out of the HOH competition with Shannon winning, and we have this whole
The gift bag twist.
yeah, we have the gift bag twist, which is I
It was
was not a fan of it.
I wasn't a
But
fan of it either. I mean, like, the only thing that would have been interesting is if James got it, but then it still would have been predictable, but he didn't get it.
yeah, or if Chuck got it, that would have been interesting too. I mean, basically
I think the
any
only reason the twist was a waste was just because of how it ended up. But I wasn't a fan of it even when it started.
I mean, the original intention of the twist was to last multiple evictions and not for it to be activated in one episode. Like it was supposed to be like, oh, you don't get it. Like one person opens it up and then it's nothing, and then the next week they do it. I mean, that was supposed to be what the twist was, but instead it ends up being used on the first HOH, and it's like, okay, well, I guess this is a waste of a twist.
100% a waste of a twist.
Broken Sunnier says the gift bag twist was horrible. I mean, it absolutely was, but
It could have been more interesting if it didn't end up in this episode and like ended up like maybe like a couple more HOHs from now at the best, but I'm just trying to be optimistic because it was kind of a dumb idea to begin with.
right. I mean, it's really what's interesting about it is that it actually shows that production maybe wasn't hampering as much as we think they were, because like they don't want it to be activated the first HOH, and they don't have
No,
that control, because they pick the bags randomly and they pick the tokens randomly. So it's
like
like,
they were just trying to play around with a new idea, and like the terminology, I feel like is why they really did the twist was recast because it was like, okay, Hollywood celebrity stardom.
right, it's like the Saboteur twist from season 13 when the Saboteur went home the first week. It's like, okay, well, that's the way it is sometimes. All right. So yeah, but back to the episode. Everyone's kind of messing around about this gift bag. They learn that the HOH can be like basically taken over, and they're kind of like scared about it. Um, so
Yeah, but to prevent that, you had like the 7-person alliance with every female in the household and plus now Ross, and everyone's supposed to be in agreement with who they want. So they already knew that if any single guy used the gift bag, that everyone in that alliance is supposed to also say that they wanted the gift bag. What else is worth noting is that every single person who wanted to use the gift bag would have to go into the diary room, pick up a random colored coin, which would determine whether or not they were able to use the gift bag if the HOH also got another matching coin.
right, it was a very public display that you had to do, and it was not a bad idea on the female alliance part to predicate that, yeah, if one of the guys uses it, we all have to go in. I think that was a good play on their part. I
Yeah,
think,
the odds are like overwhelmingly in their favor at that time.
oh, absolutely. That's what I was saying. Well, this twist doesn't really matter, like at least not at this point. Um, so Shannon goes around, talks to. Well, first off, I think doesn't Mark basically tells Shannon that she's the biggest target. I believe that was this episode, and that was pretty okay. Like,
It, it,
why?
it was just weird to say that in the first place.
James
And then
also did the same thing.
I'm not Ross, I'm sorry. Chuck even ended up saying like you're a threat.
All the guys should have tried for their gift bags as well, or the guys had no chance. I don't think the guys were near as organized as the girls. I mean, that's the thing. Like the girls assumed there was an all guys thing. It was not an all guys thing.
The all guys thing is literally just out of survival of the all girls thing.
Yeah, every single there's rarely ever an all guys thing, really. Um, and actually, I'll put it like this: whenever a gender based alliance starts, it never lasts. It's all bull, and it ends up being
I mean, the whole alliance was broken of like this whole all females against guys thing when you put Ross in there and he's a guy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not an all-female alliance then. Then you ruined it already.
You can't put
You
it's like they're like, okay, well, you're gay, so you can be acceptable, but then you tell him to his face, well, we want a woman to win the show anyway.
go six, then you should have just went six strong if you wanted like female empowerment. That would have made the most sense, but no, they
They
had to
want
add.
they wanted the extra number, which I get it from a strategic point of view, but then to tell the guy to his face that we want a woman to win and he's not an
Right.
idiot. No one. One thing I have to admit, coming off of BB19,
We're jumping into episode 3.
I know
Relax.
we're jumping way too into it, but I just want to say this now. Like every player in this season is smart, and everyone is here to play, except for Meta.
All right, so back to episode 2. So Shannon goes around and talks to all the guys and basically like, don't use the gift bag. Okay, well,
Chuck didn't have any of that.
yeah, Chuck didn't have any of that. I mean, it sort of made a deal with James. Sort of made a deal. I guess she talked to Meta and Mark too about it. They were kind of like, okay, sure, but really the ones that Broken Sunnier says loose lips sink ships. Yeah, I mean, absolutely,
100%.
absolutely. But yeah, Chuck ends up using the gift bag. Goes in, then everyone else goes in. Who else went in? You said everyone but Marissa, basically.
Everyone from that alliance, every female in the household except for Marissa, and the only other guy was Ross because he was part of their alliance.
Yes. So when the nominations actually come up, the intention was for Shannon to put up, if either of those two went in, to put up James and Chuck on the block. I believe the original targets were Meta and
it was James.
Was
James was always a target no matter what.
so
Because
James
he
and
was
Meadow were originally
yeah,
going up.
James was a target because of how well he did in the HOH and the fact that he tried to make a deal with Shannon.
Right. Meta wanted to go home, which I don't think he wants to go home anymore. So,
Well, no, he does. After episode 3 on the live feeds, he wants to go home still.
Right, but he wants to fight the people that wouldn't send him home. So he's just crazy.
Yeah, at that time, but I don't know. That's probably a separate video of what's going on with the live feeds. What's going on with the live feeds right now is totally different than what's happened in the last couple days.
Right. But we'll save that for a live feed video, which Dave will be shooting in a few hours from now.
Yep.
So stay tuned for that. Okay, so basically what happens with the gift bag is they all go in or whatever. They get their coins. They get pulled out, and Keisha
Keisha earns the right to open her gift bag at the nomination ceremony.
Right, and she gets to recast the HOH. So now she's the HOH.
Yep.
And
so just worth noting, like she just got lucky enough. Like not every single gift bag was able to recast.
Yeah, Broken Sunnier says that Marissa went in to make it look like she used her gift bag when she didn't. It was a good strategy on her. Unfortunately, that the gift bag was only a temporary thing because of it being activated the first week.
Exactly.
Or the first eviction. I guess you can't even call it the first week.
Well, I have to be honest. Like they're calling it the first week themselves. So
whatever.
Yeah, we know everyone knows what we're talking about.
The first eviction, first HOH. All right, so
good enough.
I feel like Keisha really had a big power trip.
Oh hell yeah!
It was just like where did she come from? So she puts up James and Chuck, which was the plan if any of them used it. So I guess that's fine. That's good and all. James is kind of a little ticked off.
And Shannon's actually not upset by it because she believes it erased all the blood from her hands.
Which was incorrect, obviously.
Oh, no. Like, they're at war with Shannon right now.
Yeah, I mean, Shannon's in a tough position.
I feel so bad for her.
Well, I mean, you're not supposed to win the first HOH and the first veto. She's a super fan. She should know this stuff. Don't spell a 16-letter word, which we'll get to. Anyway.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, so then Keisha talks to Mark, and Mark's basically like, "Yeah, if I'm, oh wait, this was after the veto people were picked."
Yeah, so now we're on to episode 3.
Yeah, we're on episode 3. So let's talk about the players that were picked for the veto, because I guess that's what really counts. The target at this point is James, because he's a strong player and he's social. I mean, I don't even know.
And he knows the game pretty well. Like
He
I guess
does.
you could say he's a super fan, or he's a fan of the show. So we'll just say super fan.
Yeah, he's a fan of the show. Omarosa and Keisha kind of make a final two deal called Black Girl Magic, which is Omarosa's way of making a side deal with someone other than Shannon, which ended up by the end of the episode being her main deal due to actions that happened that we'll get to.
Yep.
Yeah, it was interesting enough. So the plays that were picked for the veto were Shannon, Mark, and Ariad.
Ari. We'll just call her Ari. They call her Ari. We'll call her Ari. It's so much easier.
I guess. Well, I want to learn. All right. Anyway, so they were picked, and then Keisha's like, "Hey, Mark, what would you do if you won the veto?" Mark's like, "Yeah, I think I'll probably take James off." Keisha's like, "Why?" And Mark's like, "I don't know."
Yeah. Mark is not really good at playing dumb, but like it's what I called in the live. I called it in the cast analysis that Mark and James were going to get along and they were going to be pretty good allies, and it turned out to be the truth. And I was kind of rooting for Mark to get James off the block, but that didn't happen because Shannon just decided to dominate the competition.
It's a fairly interesting to me, because it's early on in the game, and this normally you see this kind of stuff early on in the game with newbie players, how honest the players are, because we've had people say specific like in the previous episode when basically Chuck, James, and Mark all told Shannon that she was the biggest threat in the house right to her face. These are mistakes you normally see in the beginning of a season, so I guess it makes sense. But it's such a short season that these mistakes might be prevalent throughout the entire season.
These are pretty vital mistakes. I mean, also worth noting is like the next eviction is Monday, so like,
Lord,
yeah.
All right, so yeah, Mark wants to save James, and that makes sense because they're aligned.
Yep.
So that's why. Basically, I don't know what
sparked the alliance. I don't know if it's similar backgrounds but they're just friends who get along and they need allies at this point. And like I said, like the guys aren't like really a thing. They're just trying to survive.
Well, Mark said that James is a young guy and he has a good chance of winning competitions, basically. Which,
and
makes sense to me.
James won't go against Mark, at least right now.
Let's talk about the veto competition, which was just a shit show. Really puts it well, I think.
Yeah, kind of literally.
Or a sneeze show.
Ha ha ha.
Jokes. Anyway,
bad jokes.
Yeah, bad jokes. Let's just talk about the results. I think Ariada.
Ari wasn't able to spell a word correctly.
James wasn't able to spell a word. Come on, people.
Mark got a 4-letter word.
Why?
We know Shannon got a 16-letter word and just dominated everything, and then Chuck got a word that was like 6 letters, I think.
7.
7? Okay.
And then Shannon spells responsibilities for 16 letters. and Broken Sunnier in the chat says she might as well have spelled supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Yeah, that one.
Come on, Paul. You struggle with saying Ariadana, and you can't say that.
Well, why are you saying it right now? Let's just call her Ari. Ariadana.
I could be butchering it. You know what? That's pretty bad. I could say supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, and I can't say that.
Ari.
Anyway, Ari.
Baby Ari. All right, anyway.
Oh, yeah. Baby
so, really, it was completely unnecessary for Shannon to win this veto competition. She basically, her assumption was, oh, I'm going to win it for my alliance. There was no reason for her to win it. Why? Because she had no chance of going home.
Yeah, and so, yeah, exactly.
There was nothing that could have happened, no flip, no anything that could have happened that would have made it so she could go home because she was automatically safe after the recast.
However, I'm personally happy that she won it because she just unintentionally blew up the whole alliance, which is what I'm happy to see.
Right, exactly. I mean, I hate gender-based alliance. I think they're stupid.
Yeah, and I like Shannon, so
Yeah, she's better. I like her better than I did the other day.
that's true. I mean, unfortunately, she'll never win this show, but
No,
it is what it is.
that's not necessarily true.
I don't know.
I've seen bigger comebacks before.
I mean, if she wins the show, I'll totally be happy. But you know what? We'll talk about that like 2 weeks on the 26th.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say give it until a couple more evictions until we have a really good grasp on what's going on in this game. So when there's like 8 people left, I think we'll have a pretty good idea on what's going on.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, but anyway, Shannon wins veto, and the girls are ecstatic, and then everything starts blowing the hell up.
Finally.
Yeah, finally. So they're all in the HOH room, I believe. I believe that was the HOH room or some bedroom.
They're all gathered in a room.
They're all gathered in a room. There you go. And Keisha has this idea to take Chuck off the block, to use him later, and to put Mark on the block to scare him.
It's not a bad idea, but it's just kind of still ridiculous.
No, it's a really stupid idea. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, I get it because it's like you're right. Actually, Keisha's just power tripping again.
Yeah, Keisha's power tripping.
I get the strategy. The strategy was ultimately just to like you said, scare Mark and be like, hey, we could mess with you, but not for nothing. You could have just caused Mark to retaliate if he stayed.
That's not the time to scare someone. The time to scare someone is directly before an HOH competition. There's no point in scaring them days before. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell. Like she
The
just
only
got
thing
so.
that-
I think she just got too crazy with power, and then Omarosa talking in her ear just made it worse.
The only thing that would have happened if Mark got put on the block is that he would have been more passionate about the next HOH, like even more passionate than he is currently in this current HOH.
Yeah,
He knows he has to get off his ass and play. Like people think that these are celebrities. They don't succumb to the same pressure that normal people do. Like maybe a normal person might have had a little more pressure being put on the block, but the celebrities, they face hard pressures all the time, so they're used to it.
And it's worth noting because it shows like everyone's pretty level-headed considering what's going on, which is what makes the show better. I'm kind of liking this edition better, but that's just coming off of 19. Anything's easier to like. Anything's easier to like than the second half of 19.
It's still early.
It is true.
Sonia says at least Shannon is likable. She has a chance to win, unlike what happened last season at LOL, who we had at the end. Neither were worth shit. Patty's in the chat too. She said, "What's up? Hey Patty, how you doing?"
What's up?
Broken says, "I agree. No reason to scare Mark. That's just stupid." Exactly. It doesn't make any game purpose.
It was really fucking stupid.
So Dave, tell us what happened in the argument that happened in the room.
The argument, with Keisha and all them and Shannon. Oh my god, yeah. So basically, Shannon came up with the idea thanks to Ross and a little bit, I believe Marissa a little bit, but mostly Ross started telling her you should not use the veto. Leave everything as is and don't let them get what they want. So Shannon gets into an argument with Keisha about, hey, I'm not going to use the veto. Well, if you're not going to use the veto, then basically you're not doing what's best for the alliance. So then Shannon says, well, I'm doing what's best for my game. And Omarosa and Keisha try to make her feel bad in saying, well, you're doing what's best for your game and not the alliance. All I'm hearing is I in this game where there can only be one winner.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a ridiculous conversation. And then Keisha makes some point about a girl to the end, and Ross is just sitting right there. And he's...
Well, yeah, it's
not a girl.
It's not even that. It's like the girl to the end, but then it's the whole, people are watching this, and we want to set a good example, and then it turns into this.
It's not a good example.
It's a freaking game.
A gender-based alliance is never. It's not a good example. It's
No.
stupid.
I mean,
You should be.
I
You
get
should.
what they
Go ahead.
want to make. I get what they want to make happen, but like, I understand it. It's like, okay, you want a female to win because you're female, you have pride. I get it. It's like I kind of want a guy to win because I'm a guy and I have pride. You know, whatever it is. It's like I get the mentality, but it's like ultimately, who cares? Just do what's best for your individual game. That's what this show is about.
I mean,
So
well, I don't have
Shannon,
such.
I'm just saying, I don't, I personally don't really care. I'm kind of rooting for Shannon right now, even though I don't think she can win. So I don't care if you're male or female. Just give me a good show and a good game. But the point is, it's like Shannon's trying to do what's best for herself, which I totally understand it. And that also helps out the fact that splitting up the alliance and now you're making enemies and you're going to, you know, sides have to be taken. Like, and then Shannon breaks down and started crying, which I'm still wondering if that was real or if that was an act.
No, I think she's legitimately stressed because
I
she
don't
knows how
blame her.
big of a target she has on herself.
That's true.
But she did it to herself, and she doesn't even realize. Do you think without Ross prompting, Shannon would have stood strong? No, absolutely not.
No, it was all because of Ross.
She was breaking down.
Yeah.
She was crying to Omarosa. I mean, it's maybe eventually she would have stood up, but not for this vote. Absolutely not. It was really the push from Ross, and then Shannon realizing, okay, no one really has my back right now. When she confronted her
Except
whole
for,
alliance.
well,
No,
Ross
not
and
even Ross.
Marissa.
Not even Ross in that conversation really
No,
stepped up.
not in that conversation, but like Ross kind of, I think Ross has her back, but Marissa's the only one who has her back, but that's because they're friends in real life.
Right, right.
But I don't know. I'm seriously just loving all this. It's so good and entertaining.
Yeah, I mean,
Even
this
though
is
I don't agree with like half the stuff that's happening in terms of like the whole gender-based alliance, but
what is even more hypocrisy is Keisha and Omarosa plan a final two black women alliance, but want to accuse Shannon of a white girl alliance. It's ridiculous. I mean, yeah, I mean, we'll talk about that after when we talk about what happened after the vote. But that was just
it's I'm starting to wonder. I don't know.
it's just baiting. That's all. It's all it really
That's
is.
what I'm wondering. I'm like, I'm trying to figure out, like, are they that serious or they're just doing this to just piss people off for social reasons? You know what I mean?
No, they're baiting. I mean, it's a legitimate strategy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I see right through it, but I'm like, is it a strat? Like, I just hope that that's not their actual mentality. And I agree with you. You're
Well,
right. They're probably baiting. I hope
yeah,
that's what the case is.
I mean, Paul and Big Brother Canada 2 had the same strategy of baiting using the race card, and it didn't work out well for him either. So I don't think it's going to work out well
Good.
for Omarosa.
I don't want that type of shit to work out. That's just no.
Do you think Big Brother would make that the storyline? Make what the storyline? Crystal. Um. So okay, so back to the episode, which we're still covering.
Yeah.
So
Opinions aside.
Ross talks to Shannon about maybe not using the veto. Then that whole confrontation happens that we basically already talked about with Shannon and the rest of the alliance. Do you think Big Brother would make that storyline? What do you about race?
You mean,
I don't. What do you mean that storyline about race? Do we think they're going to show the scene in the next episode?
or are you implying that the show might be like scripted and like they're trying to make it the story in that respect? Is what you mean?
I
Please
mean,
elaborate.
that's just something that showed up on the live feeds after the episode. They have no control over that specifically on what words they say.
Yeah. The disclaimer on the live feed says that all the time.
That's true. All right. All right. So
I've been
Shannon ends
watching too
up.
much live feeds.
Keisha and Omarosa try to really force Shannon to use the veto, but Shannon ends up not using the veto. Harry, you know more about after the vote that I don't. LOL. Okay. Not that much more. The live feeds were cut off after a little while. Okay, so yeah, so Shannon
I think
ends
about
up
an
not.
hour after the episode, they were cut off.
Shannon ends up not using the veto, and I think Almarosa like throws like a pillow across the other side of the couch. I thought that was a little funny scene. you just see something flying like a little bit to the other room, and I was like, did Omarosa really just do that? She means the edit in the show on TV. It's possible that they'll show it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's why it's good to just like if you can just watch the live feeds. I mean, someone always puts it on YouTube anyway.
Or if you're talking about just the final two deal between Omarosa and Keisha, which I mean they have to show because it was a pivotal part of the episode. Those
I
two
mean,
working together.
that was shown in the episode.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, like maybe they mean them showing the Black Girl Magic scene. I'm not really sure what exactly what they're getting at.
It came back up in the live feeds after the episode as well.
Yeah. So yeah. All right. So back to the episode. Yeah. So the veto was not used, and then after Ross and Shannon, well, it was I think it was mostly Shannon's idea that she wanted to flip the vote and save James.
It was 100% Shannon's idea. At that point, Ross pretty much pushed Shannon in like the right direction. I feel like Shannon stayed in that direction, and she agreed. She's like, "Well, let's not save." They like the whole reason why she chose to save James as opposed to Chuck was because Keisha kept on saying how much she believes that she could use Chuck for her own game. So after Shannon being criticized for not sticking up for the Alliance, Keisha's saying my own game for Chuck. So you have hypocrisy on every side now.
Right, and
So yeah, Shannon basically
Omarosa told Shannon that Keisha talked to Chuck, which I don't think actually really happened. I think Omarosa was trying to do a power move and saying this already happened.
I honestly could have sworn that Keisha did talk to Chuck at one point, but I could have just missed that. But either way, that's what was said, and because of Shannon having that knowledge or being told that lie, that's why Shannon decided, hey, we have to flip the votes. We could probably get James on our side. Plus, the other reason with Shannon getting everyone to go for James made the most sense was because, and that's what I saw in the live feeds last night, was the fact that Shannon brought up that James didn't open his gift box, that James stayed loyal, and James, quote unquote, made like he never made a promise he couldn't keep. And Shannon respected that, whereas opposed to Chuck, who said you're a threat and actually tried to fight.
Right, exactly. I mean, James is playing the game just better because he knows trust is very fickle in the house, and even though they weren't aligned in the beginning, actions throughout the game can pretty much show that maybe you are someone that can be trusted.
Exactly. Whereas Chuck basically said, like, they could trust Chuck to fight. And I'm not even saying that just because he's a UFC guy. Like, that's the whole thing. Chuck is a fighter through and through. And he wanted to fight to stay alive.
Let's talk about the baby. Let's talk about the baby thing with James and Ari. I thought that was really funny.
Oh, that was hysterical.
That was amazing. And
the reason, just so you guys know, sorry to cut you off again, Paul. The reason that you guys know why So the reason why that happened in the first place was because the two of them tied for last place in the veto competition. So that was their punishment.
Yeah, because they couldn't spell a word. Oh well.
I guess you are a baby if you can't spell a word.
Basically. So yeah, I would love to have a baby James and a baby Ari in to take care of. I think that'd be very cool. And especially if they grow up to be a big time Rush star and and an international model, basically.
Yeah,
those are some successful kids.
My favorite part was Ross actually feeding, I believe it was Ari. He's like, "Here comes the airplane."
I thought Ari like doing like a horseback ride on James was like the cutest thing ever.
Oh, and then Chuck like literally lifted her up to put her in the chair. It was, and then they had to every time they'd hear a baby crying, they had like, these bottles and they had to like suck on the bottle.
Broken Senior says lol because they couldn't spell a word. I mean, that's what it was.
I mean, that is a baby mistake.
Patty says she talked to him. Hold on, let me read this first. Ross is being smart. He is pushing Shannon. You need to go talk to. He's in the background whispering in her ear, getting done what needs to be done. Hand clean. Yeah, that's true. And then Patty says she talked to him saying if she pulls Chuck off, if Chuck wins the next HOH, he won't nominate Keisha. That was the extent of Keisha's convo with Chuck. Right. Yeah, I mean that's okay. That makes sense.
Definitely. So bottom line is Keisha did talk to Chuck.
Yeah, I mean the way you're putting it, Broken Sonny, it kind of sounds like Ross is playing a similar game to Gary that Gary did in Big Brother Canada. Was it 4 or 5? I think 5. The All Star one. Yeah, that one. So the half All Star one. Because Gary was kind of doing that too, like whispering in ears. That didn't really work out for him. So I'm not saying like it's not going to work out for Ross, but I'm just trying to like build comparisons here. It's a possibility. Like Gary looked like he was in a really good position early on in Big Brother Canada as well, but it is what it is.
I trust in Ross. I think. I mean, I know we could say it's too early to call, but I think Ross is going to make it. Ross is definitely going to make it far, in my opinion.
Hmm.
He's the only one I'm seeing who has like no target on his back. Him, Ari, and Marissa.
Oh,
But even
they'll change very quickly with Ross.
oh,
Trust me.
oh yeah, no, I totally can. But I don't know. I mean, then again, this is coming from someone who both me and you both predicted Chuck as the possible winner, and
Well, that's
well,
before you know the social dynamics of the game.
yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
I expected Chuck to honestly. Chuck just got the raw end of a stick here.
Yeah, and plus I just like Chuck. I'm like, oh, he's a fighter, but that's the other thing that I guess I kind of forgot. You can't be a fighter here.
Patty's saying Ross is winning. I'm. It's too early.
I
It's too
I
early.
I'm kind of agreeing with Patty.
Too early to call for me.
It's definitely too early to call, but let's get back into the episode. Again, we'll find out the 26th who the hell wins.
All right, so let's just jump into the vote as of right now. So yeah, the flip is basically put into place. Everyone agreed on it except for Omarosa, who I think was blindsided.
Omarosa was blindsided. That was everyone said it. Julie Chen said it. Reality Room podcast tweeted that out.
Yeah, I saw. So the vote was 7-1, and Omarosa being the only one to evict James.
Yep.
Everyone else voting on Chuck. Chuck leaves.
That's what I found weird though, is that Keisha decided to flip the vote too.
Keisha doesn't vote. She's HOH, Dave.
Oh, duh. Wow. It's 2 a.m. here, okay?
Would you believe this isn't our first rodeo?
Fair enough.
Would you believe I watched 19 seasons? Because I have. Well, 18 seasons. I didn't watch Big Brother 1. Anyway. So yeah, Chuck gets evicted. He's not surprised, but he just wants to really know what went on, because he's not too sure what happened specifically.
He said I mean, yeah, but he said to Julie Chen in the interview, like, he wasn't like that surprised, but I mean, I guess he just says that because he's on the block.
Yeah, Patty, I agree with Ari as a goat. I think that's a good possibility.
Ari is a goat?
Yeah, like someone that's dragged to the end and wins anyway.
Maybe. That'd be funny.
Like Josh.
Yeah, that's true. I just think it'd be funny because it's like, you don't win Miss America. I mean, I'm sorry, Miss Miss Universe.
It still says meta. Yes. Yes. Please. That would be amazing. Meta reminds me of Justin from OTT, only crazier.
Oh, so we kind of skipped over Meadow a little bit, but Meadow wants revenge, and like this isn't. I'll go more into the live feeds video because there's way more with this, but because it was shown in the episode or one of these two, he wants revenge for not being put on the block.
Oh, this is nice. Broken says that PS Dave, you're a nice addition to Reality Room Podcast. You got to take the compliments, Dave, when we can.
Yeah, apparently.
Before the haters flood the comments later.
Oh yeah, before the haters flip the comments.
If they do. if you're a hater and you're commenting on this, well, too bad. We already know.
We do.
Absolutely. All right. What were we saying? Sorry, I cut you off.
So, sorry, I was totally lost in the thought because I have so much to rant about Meta, but we'll save that for the live feeds video. But Meta, he like I said, he wants revenge for everything. He wants revenge for not being put up on the block, which I think is the greatest thing. Like he's the biggest rogue that I've seen in this season because he has no alliance. He's been out there saying, I'm not part of any alliance. I just want to go home. And because you won't send me home, I'm gonna get revenge on you.
I'm gonna get rid of all of you.
Pretty much.
I love
It's like the weird. He's like the craziest wild card, but I can't even say he's a wild card because in the live feeds he did explain what he wants to do, and I'll just say it now. He wants to put Shannon
that's
and
what you
James
mean
on the
by
block.
goat. Patty says by goat, I mean someone useless and will not win. Well, even goats can win.
That's true. I mean, Josh was one of them.
Yeah, Josh was kind of one of them.
Oh,
Well,
even though, well, he did make an appearance on the show on this episode with Derek, Nicole, and Ian. Yeah, no, that was another thing though with Josh is him saying the fact that he was on that the whole "I want to go home" thing was an act, but I really don't buy it.
Right.
So,
All right.
so Chuck is gone.
Yeah, Chuck is gone. It's disappointing. Yeah, so I guess that's really what happened in episode 3.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah.
If you-
I mean, Chuck. Oh, Chuck wants to go on the Amazing Race, and Julie says that that's a very good possibility.
Broken
And I would
Sunnier
love-
says, Dave, you say thank you when you're complimented. Yeah, Dave, come on, we'll say thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I had Meadow on the brain. My bad.
Dave has Meadow on the brain, so he's thinking outside the box right now. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I appreciate the compliments. Like when I'm in like Big Brother moment, like all I talk about and think about is Big Brother, and everything goes over my head. So, thank you for the compliment. Apologies.
All right. Apology. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Whatever.
What are we, children? All right. Anyway, let's.
I'm not wearing a baby costume, am I?
All right, James. All right, so we'll finish off here. Thank you guys for watching. Dave will be doing a live feed update video tonight. In a few hours, I'll be doing one tomorrow. So look forward to those. We'll be trying to do them daily. Me, Dave, Chris, and I. Probably mostly us too.
Yeah.
Chris busy. Though I'm busy too. So Chris, come on, if you're watching this.
Well, school's in session for all of us, so it's like,
Oh shit, live feeds are back on. Patty says, perfect timing, Dave. I told you.
Okay, so maybe you might get a video in like 10 minutes. Well, I gotta see what the hell's going on in the live feeds first.
No, you gotta watch for at least 2 hours.
Okay, thanks, Paul.
Trust me. All right.
I believe it.
I want to give a shout out to Patty. Thank you for supporting our channel. If you also enjoy our content and want to support us, a link to our Patreon is in the description below. Please,
yeah,
guys.
So head on over there and don't forget to like, subscribe, share this with your friends, all that stuff.
Right, exactly. If you can't support us through monetary means, just a thumbs up or a subscription would mean the world.
Yes, it really would.
Honestly, it really does. We had someone subscribe literally while we were making this video. Thank you, Sarah5000, who's currently watching us live. I bet
we love you and all our subscribers.
All right. Until next time. Peace.
See ya.